Good evening. Once again, here we are, Bakwetu. Welcome to Bakwetu program. My name is Mukelabai, and I am tonight, we have our host and at the same time our guest tonight, Dr. Barbra Chanda, who is going to help us in discussing just a little bit of updates on the COVID-19, because we haven't had this topic for some time now, and we don't know what is currently going on back home in Zambia, for example. And we would love you viewers to also contribute and tell us the status quo. Having said that, I would love to first and foremost welcome each and every one of you. Welcome to our program, TV Bakwetu, and we would love to as well employ our viewers to send in your contributions and your stars for those who are watching on Facebook, and those who are watching on YouTube could also make a subscribe. Yes, something like that. And it's only something like £3, or I don't know how much it is in Zambian kwacha, which is very, very affordable. And I believe most of you people in the diaspora, that is almost nothing, except for maybe probably our brothers and sisters in Zambia, but you never know. They may be doing fine, and we think we never should underestimate just because we live in the diaspora. Anyway, having said that, let's just get back to our business. What, doctor? How are you today? How are you doing? Good to see you. Muchwan.
Hi, Kachel. I'm very fine. I was trying. Each time I try to speak close, even though I speak it, Spanish comes into my mouth first. I'm very fine and I'm good. I hope you're all fine as well. And good evening to everybody watching in Zambia, in the diaspora, wherever you may be. As long as you're part of the family, if you're not joining, like Mukelabai has said, share the link, give us some likes on YouTube, and join the Bakwetu family as well. There are different things that we are doing on Bakwetu. You can come and join with whatever ideas that you may have. So it's a big family. So on the updates on COVID-19, first and foremost, we have to say that different countries have got different jurisdictions in regards to COVID, what's allowed, what's not allowed. So we don't want any of us to do the Djokovic and end up going to a country abroad and you end up having to deal with lawyers, people start hating on you and dividing different opinions. So the important thing is the information that we give is what's available, what's legally available through the World Health Organization and what is standard. Why am I emphasizing on this? Because like everything to do with health, especially immunology, there are different schools of thought. So there can be a different opinion about whether something is necessary or not. But what the World Health does in general is to provide what will be the best outcome for the world citizens, for all of us. There could be one person or 7 people who may not be good at doing something or may not work well with boosters or vaccines. That doesn't mean that the rest of the 90% or 99% of the universe will not do well from the outcome. So that's what the World Health Organization does. They'll do the best assessment of what's available. Now, I'm not going to give the exact statistics because the statistics are changing variably. But where we've reached right now, we have gotten to a place which is completely different from where we were this time in 2020. In 2020, this time, that's where the buzz news was coming in about COVID, and we were hearing about what's happening in China. The world was entering into a very scary moment until we got into March, where most of the places were literally on lockdown. By the time we're getting to April, the whole world was in lockdown. We were just, watching each other on the online platforms or over the phone. Where we are now, things are different. So we've gone through the phase where people have had their initial vaccinations, they've had the second vaccinations, and then the boosters have gone in as well. So a quite big number of the population has received their vaccines and boosters. And then out of that big population, most of them who we've been worried about, which are the people that are at risk, that means the older people, diabetic, hypertensive, people with chronic illnesses that are ongoing, cancerous conditions and other conditions, most of them will have received their vaccines or their boosters. And then there's another group of younger people who, even though they may get the illness, it may not be as bad as it would be in somebody with a chronic illness or somebody that has got an ongoing condition. Now, when we say chronic condition, what do we mean? A chronic condition is that condition that has been diagnosed by your medics and has got no cure, and you've been taught and trained to manage your condition. An example of that is if you're hypertensive, there's no cure to hypertension. You'll be trained to take your medication, to change your lifestyle, because most of these are lifestyle illnesses. So they change as we go along. Maybe if we've reduced on our exercises, we've put on a couple of weight, and then we get our hypertensive. So the first thing is that we change our lifestyles, we lose our weight, we increase on our exercises, we change the foods that we're eating, we reduce on sodium, salt, heavy foods in a healthy way. So we change our lifestyle. These are what we call chronic illnesses. Diabetes, so these are people that depend on medication and are okay on any other day because they can manage this condition. So because they're already on a weak level, they're already weakened, their immune system is already weak, and that's why the virus, the coronavirus, would attack them more and be more virulent in them. It will be more dangerous to them. In an acute condition, what is an acute condition, which is not a chronic condition? An acute condition is a sudden condition that will put your life at risk that needs to be treated there and then. Example, if you have appendicitis, you will find during the day all of a sudden you've got a sided pain in your tummy, you've got severe pain, you need to be operated on for you to get better, otherwise you will die. That is what is an acute condition. So people with chronic illnesses are the ones who are more vulnerable to the virus. So now that we've established what a chronic illness is, we're getting to where we've reached with coronavirus. A lot of our citizens have, in Europe, for example, in most developed countries, I do understand, before I even have this topic, there was there's been a lot of discrepancy with the vaccines between developed countries and non-developed countries. But we may be also aware that most underdeveloped countries have relatively, God has been on our side, so that the virus hasn't been that virulent in those areas. Even though they may not have as many people vaccinated, they are also in a better position because very few people, in comparison, that is, very few people have died. Even though it's true that some people may have not been accounted for, still going by the graveyards and the funerals and what's happening in the community, you can tell whether there's been more funerals or not. And our countries, especially Zambia, has relatively done well with COVID. At some point last year, we did get a bit of a hike in the cases. And the reason it felt like it was a hike, because we did have a lot of more high-profile people, so it was more in people's faces that this person has died and that person has died. But as we stand, things are quite fine. What we need to do is not lower our guard. By lowering our guard throw away the mask, just carry on. It's now a party and every day is happy days. That happened during the AIDS crisis. The minute people stopped talking about AIDS and HIV, everybody slowed down, and before we knew it, there was another hype. So we need to still keep our guard, be very careful, be vigilant. If there's anybody who's having a cough, who's ill, who may have the symptoms, report it, isolate so that you protect the community. In the UK now, for example, the rules are, in the next week, they will be relaxed. Again, if you're based in UK, you have to go to the websites, the government websites, to read about what is available, what you can and cannot do, what you are allowed in your workplace, and you should always go by the official advice. Same thing applies to Zambia. If you're in Zambia, make sure wherever you are, you find out what is available for you. If you're going to travel, make sure you find out, if I'm going to travel to Europe, if I'm going on business to such a location, what is it that I need to do? Do I need to do a PCR test? When do I need to do a PCR test? All these things are the information that you need to be aware of. Anything you wanted to ask? Because at the moment, I'm just saying things in general. I'm avoiding the real medical core because I don't want to go into the depth of immunology, because I want to give the general information that every person should be aware of to protect themselves and to be aware of what's about. Any questions from Mukelabai?
Thank you so much for that general overview of the update on COVID. We have viewers that are busy asking questions, but as you have already heard from the doctor, she has advised that she doesn't want to go into details due to the reason she just gave you. Anyway, the thing is, I wanted to ask you, what doctor, is something to do related to the pregnancy.
Yeah.
Pregnant women, should they take the vaccine? If yes, what are the chances of babies being protected or being harmed? What's your say? What's your medical opinion?
Yeah,
or advice?
pregnant women can take the vaccine, and they need to protect themselves just like anybody else who would be pregnant, because that's important. When a child is born, they too have to be protected from the environment from different viruses. But bear in mind, once a child is born, in the first weeks of their life, they're depending on the mother's immunity. The immunoglobulins and everything that is protecting them is that which has been passed from their mother. So whatever that has been in the mother, that is what is passed to them, and that is what is protecting them. So it is something that they can take. There's no serious evidence suggesting that it shouldn't. Having said that, the coronavirus is a novel virus. This is something that is new, that has sprung on us. There are certain people that may not be able to take it. There are certain people that may be allergic to, maybe they've been allergic to certain viruses and they shouldn't, they have question marks on whether it will be safe for them. If they do, or we have certain people that suffer from conditions that they're prone to allergies. So if they're not sure that they can be allergic to the substances that may be in the vaccine, then it would be advised that they don't take it. When I'm talking about people that are allergic to substances and various things, I'm talking about people who are confirmed that they have serious allergies. Some of them move with a pen, to make sure that they don't die from different viruses. So it is already established to them that they could have serious allergies. Those are the people I'm talking about. Otherwise, in other people, they may, just like us when we got our vaccines, you may have certain mild reactions. You may have a slight fever here and there, a slight pain on your arm. That's normal. That is expected from any vaccination that you may take. So yeah, they are supposed to take it. Like any other illness, we've had children that have gotten COVID. So yes, they can get COVID. So you won't expose them. They have to be protected. As a matter of fact, when a child is born right now, the last thing you want is to go and visit the baby, because you have to protect them as well. Because their immune system, apart from them depending on their mom's immune system, it is not as strong as an adult's immune system. I submit.
Thank you so much, Doctor. That's really articulative answer. I hope viewers are able to listen, and I just wanted you to maybe also dwell on the people that are trying to downplay the virus, because in many, especially in Zambia, we have our brothers and sisters that are still don't get it and still holding on to their myths that this vaccine related is not something that is meant to prevent or protect, but it's there to simply take their lives, and people are reluctant in taking because they just read some propaganda somewhere that this vaccine is not doing any good to them. So I just wanted you as a professional medical practitioner to maybe just give a hint and advice to those that have a different view on the vaccine. Why should they take a vaccine when we have so many myths without facts around us?
First and foremost, the important thing about medicine, about anything, is that it's about choices, and professionals are about educating the masses to make an informed choice of their life. Having said that, on the other hand, it's our duty to protect everybody around us. As Abantu, it's my duty to protect my neighbor. It's your duty to protect your family and everybody else. Now, one of the analogies that a friend of mine, we had a private discussion about this. We were saying that humanity fears death more than anything else. If you watch the 7-Eleven planes dropping and you watch that guy falling from that building, and you're told to go into that building tying yourself with a protector, you would do it because it's live in your head. You've seen those people dying. When people were watching in the program, seeing the people that were dying in Italy, when they were put on the television in the acute sections of the medicine in ICU, people became more acquainted with what's going on in the hospitals and they became more concerned. Now, when people do not see that in front of them, they become relaxed. It's just like wearing a seatbelt. Everybody wears a seatbelt. If you get into your car, you even do it unconsciously. You don't wear a seatbelt because you think you're going to be in an accident that day. You wear a seatbelt because there's a possibility that you could be in an accident and that would protect you, isn't it? Now, a vaccine is there to protect you. It's there to train. I'm going to use basic language as possible. The vaccine puts soldiers into the body has body protectors which work like soldiers, like the army. The vaccine is going to train your army in the body that fights infections for you and train them to remember the enemy. Those are the vaccines. So when that is done to you, when you get an infection, instead of getting a horrid, horrible infection, you may get some spots, like if it's smallpox, you may get a little bit of spots instead of the angry spots of smallpox that are everywhere on your body. You may get a small bits of spots because your body has been trained to react to that virus. That's what the vaccines do. Now, to some people, we are living in a generation where there's so much information. People are reading left, right, and center. There's different schools of thought. If I've had the vaccine, my immune system has already been trained. Why am I having my booster? Why am I having this? Those may be valid as well. However, we are looking at a bigger picture. We are looking at those who are vulnerable. If there's a young person who is 16, they play football, they're extremely healthy, they may need a vaccine, but it may not be as necessary to them as it may be to their grandmother. But if they live with their grandmother, it's important that they have it because their grandmother may get this illness and die. And not only that, because with all the novel illnesses, novel by meaning it's something new, we are all learning together about this illness, the things that it does. People who've had COVID before, like myself, I can tell you that the fatigue that you get from COVID, I've never had it before. It's something strange. Some people may even have it worse because I was not admitted in hospital. I was not on oxygen, but there are some people, I've got friends who are in ICU who are still languishing from those symptoms. Now, if you've never seen these things before, like I was saying about accidents, you think it's not there. Just like there are people in Europe who've never witnessed the horrors of HIV the way we did in Africa. They'll tell you that people who talk about AIDS exaggerate because they never saw it. However, we all have to protect one another. We all have to be educated enough to know that we have to protect one another. The same way we get into a car, a person will tell you, I don't want to get a vaccine because I've read so much about it. That person will be the first person to wear a seatbelt when they enter into their car. If you ask them, do you think you're going to have an accident in the next 2 stations? They'll think, yeah, it's Saturday. So why are you asking me about an accident? Why? Because over the years, humans have been educated that you need to have a seatbelt. Otherwise, something horrible will happen to you. And we see it when we see cars being tested in accidents on car program. We see the doors moving and seeing how they can crack their back and necks. We are aware of it. On the other hand, we are not aware of what is happening in our body from the COVID. We talk about it, but we are not aware of it because it's subjective. Subjective means it's something that's happening inside you. When there was things like polio was not a subjective illness. It was an illness where you see your child not being able to walk. You see your child literally on a wheelchair. So it was something that was visual. So when people saw their kids reacting and getting the virus like that, they were quick to vaccinate them. So our responsibility is not really to chastise those who don't want to have the vaccine, but to continue educating them till they get to a point they will have the vaccine in a natural way, that we wear a seatbelt, where it becomes natural to say, if there's a vaccine to protect me from a particular illness, it's not there to harm me. Now, because there's been so much in the media, there's been chastising marketing companies, pharmaceutical companies, chastising people that contribute to pharmaceutical companies, like all the rich guys that contribute money to different companies. Some people think, oh, they want to manage the world and reduce the population, etc. That would be so easily done just by the food that we eat. If there was a psychopath who would just infect the alcohol that people drink, I don't know how many people would be dead. That would be the easiest way to eliminate the population of the world. Just put whatever you want to put in alcohol, in food, in restaurants. These places are open every day. So we have to stop thinking about those evil things that we are forever churning out in our minds. And because of the forced media, these things are growing, and they are growing hard, that a person can just grasp one simple information and go with it to the world. And lies were trainers to go running when the truth is still fast asleep. The truth will forever be sleeping. By the time, a lie will have gone around the earth and the truth is still in bed. That's how it is. So whatever information that is a lie goes faster. If you ask people about the effects of the vaccine, they'll tell you about maybe one person that they've heard, two people that have heard, not about the majority of the people. True, we've lost almost, I think it's the world, it's almost about 500,000 or somewhere there. A lot of people have died from COVID. Those are real numbers, those are real people, and we have to protect ourselves. Because if we don't, the COVID itself is not just the human loss that has cost us, it's the economic loss that it has cost us. If you go into a building, there are paintings of 1 meter apart. All those are not just being painted for free. That's money that was being spent. When there's a lockdown, when people cannot go to tourist places, like go back home or go to visit family members, that's businesses lost. That's so much money has been lost. Some people have lost their companies. People who were in entertainment businesses, some don't even know what to do because they lost their businesses. And then right now, they're just trying to catch up, just trying to start. So the only way we can support one another is making sure that we're healthy and we don't get back to where we were just over 2 years ago when we were all in lockdown. How? By all of us being vigilant, getting our booster, getting our vaccinations. We're not here to talk about the debate of what is right and wrong, because what is right is already there. The vaccine is important. It will protect us. Of course, if you're allergic, if you've got severe allergies, if you're unable to take this vaccine, then of course you can't take it, because there are some people who truly are allergic to a lot of things and may not be able to take them. Otherwise, for the most part of the people, we should be looking after one another and making sure that we have the vaccine and protect our economies. We are protecting our economy, we are protecting our livelihoods. Even if somebody says, I don't want to take it, I don't want to do it, other people will feel they're putting them at risk. This is what's happened to the tennis player. Even though maybe there is a possibility that he may not have a problem, but no one wants to be that risk. It's about risk. And the risk costs more. It's better to be safe than sorry than take a chance and regret. That's where we are at the moment. So people should take the vaccine. People should be reading real information. People should not be paranoid. When God wants to end the world, it is going to end. You won't hear about rumors. I've got a feeling that when God comes, not going to do fireworks, it's just going to turn up. In the meantime, it's God himself who gives wisdom to the doctors, to the lawyers, to everybody that works, to all of us. We get the wisdom from whoever made us. So we should be using it to the best of our knowledge. So the vaccine is very, very important. The booster is very, very important. There is also a question of the costing as well. So sometimes if you're in a third world country, you also have to learn to protect yourself. how to reduce the risk, because some places may not have the boosters available, they might not have the vaccines available. So how do you do this? By making sure that we're all eating healthy foods that we all have to learn. I have to learn that as well. Eating healthy, boosting our immune system so that, we protect our health, because at the end of the day, the population of the world is not equal to the vaccines in that the world can produce. So the responsibility, the honor of health is on each individual. It's not on what you read in the papers. It's not what you think. It's not in the rumor. It's you taking responsibility about yourself. Right now, me as a person, how am I supposed to live a healthy life? How am I supposed to protect myself? How am I supposed to protect my house, my local unit in the area where I am, in the neighbors, until we make a street, until we make a town, until we make a country. We are each one another's brother and sister. So that's really, really important. What to take home about what I've said is education is very important. One, informed decision. People become rebellious when we make them think we are going to force them to do something, because they become suspicious. But if we educate them on the reasons they're doing this, the reasons you're doing this, the reason you're feeding your child, the reason you don't feed your child Nshima when they're babies, because they can't digest it. Full stop. That's why we encourage you to give them milk. When a mother understands that, they'll not give a tiny baby Nshima. They'll do it because they've seen it. That's how it works. So we just have to educate everybody the importance of sticking to real news, the importance of looking after yourself. At the end of the day, it's you and yourself. It's not anybody else. It's just you and your own body that you have to look after. And as human beings are very cruel, a person can come here, tell you that they don't believe in vaccines, they don't believe in this, they don't believe in that. Even in the time of HIV, people said they don't believe in HIV. All of a sudden, people who had money, they were buying the retrovirus for themselves. Because self-perseverance is what guides the world. On their own, somebody will go and take a vaccine and still be reading and posting that I don't believe in vaccine, because they've protected themselves. So always people should think about themselves, what's best for you. Make informed choices. You can be in a group talking about, this rich man is trying to destroy the world. Don't be the stupid fool who will go on a rant with that information without protecting your health. Make sure your health is protected. Make sure you take the vaccine. Make sure you look after yourself. Otherwise, we'll still be seeing why are poor people dying? Why do poor people die more than the rich people? Because they protect themselves. They eat better food. Why is the lifespan higher in developed countries more than in developed countries? Because they protect themselves. They look after each other. And that's all we need to do. So with health, with the vaccines, with COVID, we have to take the vaccine and use informed decision. So I know in the comments, people said different things. What I'm saying is it is important to have informed decision. Informed decision is not a rumor. Informed decision is not what happened to your neighbor. Informed decision is what is valid, what is happening, what would happen to 1 million people and more. That is what informed decision is.
Absolutely.
It's not, if I say, for example, I don't eat liver, any animal liver, I don't eat it. That doesn't mean people in the world cannot eat liver. But if people tasted it and 20 million people ate liver and got an illness, then that is something we should worry about, because more people have eaten this and it's caused a problem. That's why informed decision should be scientific. It should be real. It should come from real sources. As we speak, if you're on this program, you should have access to read about informed decisions. If you're in different countries, whichever country you're in, if you're in Zambia, find out what is available in Zambia. Before you go to your neighbor, before you go anywhere, always find out, where can I get this information from? Where can I get information about my health? That should be readily available. Information about health is not something you do when you're ill. You do it when you're fine. It's like life insurance. It's like health insurance. You get it before you're ill. Wherever you are, you have to know, what am I supposed to do if I get COVID? Where am I supposed to go? Which numbers am I supposed to call? What medication am I supposed to take? COVID is a virus, so there's no tangible medication that you can take that is against the virus. When you hear people are being treated in the hospitals, they're being treated from the complications of the virus. If somebody gets a chest infection, they'll put on antibiotics. If they get a clot, they'll be put on blood thinners. If their oxygen levels as a secondary of the clot and the infections in their lungs get worse, they'll be put on oxygen to support their breathing, to support their well-being. That is what is done. But the virus itself does not need antibiotics. The virus itself will cause mild symptoms, just like the cold flu. You take paracetamol, take something for your headache, until it causes the complications. That is why there are more in people who are already weak in their health with chronic illnesses. So they are more prone to get clots. They're more prone to get chest infections. They are more prone to get all these other things. A person who's already had a stroke is prone to get a clot again from the virus. So those are the people who have complications. Again, I repeat, informed decision is very important. Scientific information is very important. I support a doctor's website on Facebook. It's Dr. Teddy Mulenga's website. So everybody comes there with questions, and somebody will ask a question. Sometimes we've had people say, somebody says, I've got an ear infection. The next thing you see 10 people replying, oh, pray about it. Go to the blah, blah, blah. Go and just go and boil mango leaves. That's what I mean.
Self-medication, doctor.
Exactly. You need to have scientific. Exactly. People
especially for Zambia.
It's not that they'll say it with doubt. They don't say it with doubt.
At no malaria.
Oh, you had a rush. Just put petrol. Just go and put petrol. Me, a cousin of mine had. He put petrol. It got cured.
Oh my goodness.
Those are the things, because people don't get informed decisions, and people will go with this. Oh no, somebody got stomach pains. They were told that it's appendicitis. They went to a pastor. The pastor just prayed for them.
Yeah,
these are all rumors that people hear. So that's why it's important for people to have informed decisions. That's why we need to educate our population. A person can just hear from a rumor that that COVID is not true. It's not even real. I've never seen anyone with COVID. It's lies. They're lying.
It's true. Anyway.
The same person can have a flu, can have a cough, can have all the classic symptoms of COVID, and they'll go to their neighbor. Hey, this is very bad. In fact, Barbra, I think it could be COVID from what they are saying, but I'm not sure, because the grandmother came and it just didn't look. Anyway, tomorrow and then more over doctor, but if you're I think it can be something else, because we always want to link to false information. Traditionally, with now false media, we've got more false things.
Religious.
We are being hit left, right, and center. So we need to educate ourselves. We need to learn what to do, because ultimately, all those things destroy our economy.
It's true. No, I understand, but doctor, you have really tabulated this very well. And thank you so much, viewers. I hope you are enjoying this broadcasting. And soon or later, we are going to invite our fellow Bakwetu families to coming onto and join us. And we are not going to continue discussing about COVID. We are just going to talk about our usual programs, what is currently happening back home. At the same time, we can also encompass in some COVID questions, because Dr. She has awakened our spirits inside us to say, maybe we really underestimated this information, but now coming from a medical practitioner, and this is what we need to do. We need to take, because Zambia, we don't have this interaction mostly with doctors. It's only those people with Abakwata Olupia or those in the high or Ngana Ulualao, you are really very serious. That's when you will have access to a doctor. And sometimes when you have access to a doctor, it's too late. You're almost about to expire and it's chapwa. So, and in echo ndefo kulomba kofe kuvana Zambia chintu chinga chimo. I would really want to request that infwa ya COVID, it's a very lonely death. You know, nga uli mu bed mu UTH or any other hospital, you're about to die. You have relatives around you holding hands to your loved ones and talking to each other and hearing words of comfort. Unfortunately, with COVID, you are isolated. It's a very painful and very lonely death. So to avoid such, why would you want to risk when you have an alternative? We are not forcing you. We are giving you information. I'm not a doctor, but just yesterday, I got my booster, my 3rd dose. I've had all these 2 doses and I've had my 3rd dose. And guess what? I still have pain on my left arm. I still feel my muscles a little bit, but that in my own head, in my own self, because I have information, I have read, I have asked, and I'm informed. And here we are. Ngakufwa. Ngatwafwire kale muni first dose batupele. But here we are. My child, my 21-year-old son, had COVID just about a few weeks ago. And all of us in the house, because we're protected, we're immune, we don't catch it, but we used to eat with him, sit on the same table together. So it is important to really, really take the vaccine to prevent anyone from getting your symptoms worse, especially if you have some healthy issues, some history with healthy problems. But my last question, doctor, before we bring anyone else, is this vaccine that we are taking, doctor, the protection, how long does it last? This vaccine we get, how long does it last in a human body for us to have? Is it something that we're gonna go on and getting it perpetually? Do you have any ideas or advice on how long? Why are we keep on having this test? Are we going to have test in perpetuity?
At the moment, what I would say is that because the COVID virus is a novel virus, so it's a new virus, as you are aware, like all virus, they're very good at mutating, so they can mutate in different variants. That is why in the last few months, we had a mutant of the virus from before to come to the Omicron, and that's why we needed to have a booster to fight this. Whether we'll be having different vaccinations or not, that's not something that we can put in concrete words, because this is a new virus. There is a possibility that we'll all develop our own immune system, get to the level of herd immunity where if we got a virus, maybe we'll just fight it off, but we don't have a guarantee. What you have to remember that the rules that are put in place are to protect the most vulnerable in a society. So if we were all healthy people who can fight off an infection, we wouldn't need the vaccine. But we are there. Those are put there to protect the most vulnerable people and to maintain the businesses so that none of us are ill and taking time off. To answer the question, it's a yes and no question. If the virus continues to be mutating, to be creating its own variants, then if we get to a point where there's a variant that's more powerful than the ones that we have, the scientists in the lab will have to create a vaccine to fight it, to protect us. if the variant is just like the common flu, because the coronavirus itself is from the family of the common flu, if it's just a mild thing that you can just shake off in 2 days, then there would be no need for a vaccine. But as it stands, it's a watch, pray, and see what happens. Our friends in the labs, the immunologists, they're working day and night to see if there is something that can be done. Is there a tablet that they can work on that you can just take if you have a virus? Is there something that can be done like the flu jab that you get yearly and you can just and then maybe it can be available for those who are even more vulnerable? The flu jab is given to the people who are more vulnerable. It's not everybody that takes it. All those are the things that are being discussed in the labs, and there are things that are working on in Oxford, all these places that have labs that are carrying out the information. For those who are on the doctors Zambian doctors website on Facebook, I will post the links where you can have the updated information. You can go to the Oxford website and see what is in the labs, what is happening, what is going to happen next, because there's a lot of information in there. But for now, the important thing is to watch, pray, and keep safe. We may have a variant of a virus that may need another booster, or we may have a virus that does not even need a vaccine because we can just shake it off, or maybe just take paracetamol, or we'll get to a stage like the flu vaccine where we have a vaccine given to those who are most vulnerable yearly. There's no conclusion to that, I submit.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. That was very, very insightful. We are really, really grateful to have you on Bakwetu and as part of our Bakwetu family. We really appreciate. We've just been joined by Bo Patrick Chirufya. Good evening, my brother, and Bo Dr. Elias Munshya. Good evening, our brothers. What Dr. Munshya, how are you?
I'm very well. Good evening, our viewers.
Good to see you.
Lusaka.
Lusaka, Zambia.
How is the corona restrictions going on that side? You who are in Zambia, are you a doctor? Are you restricted? Are you affected to so many restrictions, or it's
no, the usual restrictions are there where you restrict your movements to to almost emergencies, so to speak. No. And then if you are out in public, you wear your masks and you keep your social distancing, keep hand sanitizing, and unless you really have to be out there, stay indoors or something like that. So yeah, they're like self-imposed restrictions.
Kusheni register affect sana abantu ko COVID ni Omicron or the other one? Which one is affecting our people back home?
No, I've not followed very closely whether it's Omicron or whether the Ministry of Health actually is creating that distinction. I think the Honorable Minister of Health has been very consistent in giving her updates, and today she was giving updates from Munshya.
Okay.
And so they keep giving us updates. Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you so much, Doctor. Now let's venture into something very interesting. But before we do that, I would love to hear Chirufya to just, if at all you have something, the headlines of what is currently happening in Zambia, and Munshya can just endorse on what is currently happening and give us the updates so that we can maybe talk a little bit, even our viewers, if you have issues that you wish to share with us that are taking place Kunganda, our home, as we say, no place like home. Please share with us on this very fora, or you come forward. I think the moderator our technician may have put the link on the Bakwetu family page so that you could participate as well. We value your participation through your emails, your texts, and your contributions through your stars, sending of stars, and we value so much. Please do not get tired to do those things. This is what is keeping us moving. So having said that, Patrick, do you have something isentuchiteko nomba iseni pansaka tulandeko?
Thank you, Mukelabai. Thank you, Dr. Barbra. That was very good. You articulated the issues about COVID so well. Dr. Munshya, good to see you. Dr. Munshya, our president is back from Dubai. Only spent there about 3 days. And there is a very powerful video going on social media about the president selling Zambia. What can you say on that, Vamosh?
Selling Zambia is just that marketing Zambia, right?
Oh, marketing Zambia. Thank you.
Yeah, because selling has lots of meanings at the moment. It's quite powerful. I listened to it and I thought, this is a voice. This is a voice that indeed is marketing Zambia. And I have no doubt that there will be a lot of positive things coming up from this trip. I'm very proud of His Excellency. I think he's done a very good job in marketing our country, marketing investments, marketing that Zambia has. This has been something that we've been looking at for many years, and I'm glad that he's building on some of his predecessors in selling our country, and we are very positive about it.
It was something very, very amazing video to watch, and some of us, we have even shared it to the authorities in our this area where we live, the local authorities and the administration, the national authorities, and we hope that they will soon come to our aid to help and invest, because we don't want briefcase investors ku Zambia. Tulefwaya ama investors aba serious, not abakwisa mkushitisha enkoko pia baishira ama Chinese. I was so disappointed. And we know very well that our Chinese people are, I know they are good people within the Chinese, but mostly they are known for their safety, their poor record on safety measures, and hence a lot of accidents, even the buildings, the construction they've made.
Mukelabai, put that thought aside. We'll talk about that in another. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Well, Dr. Barbra, what's your comment about the president not selling Zambia, marketing Zambia in Dubai?
He's the chief marketing officer of Zambia, our president. We are so used to the chief commanding officer. Now we've got a chief marketing officer. It was a brilliant video, very professionally done, I must say. And he's a very confident person. As they say, he can sell snow to a snowman. He's a very good salesman, and it's very good. That's the Zambia that we want to be presented out there, to show that we are ready for business, and not just ready for business. We have the human resources. We have people who can deliver the job. So it's not just about people wanting to create business in our country, but we have the people within our country who can do the business that they need. So yeah, it's a fantastic video. It's a fantastic thing that they've done.
Yeah, thank you, Barbra. Just to add on a few, I was really touched about that video. One thing that touched me was the issue of, he mentioned about minerals, but not just minerals. He said we've got minerals that can be used to manufacture batteries for electric cars. And you know, Dubai is one of the centers in the world that wants to have electric cars in the next, no diesel car, no petrol cars. They've even manufactured driverless cars. So that was fantastic because electric cars is the thing of the future. But Barbara, you know that Scotland has passed the law, which is Scotland is part of the UK. They've passed the law by 2040, no diesel, no petrol car. So that's the way to go. Who knows? One of these Tesla, Mercedes-Benz now are making electric cars. They will come to Zambia and open a manufacturing plant, and Zambia will be something else. And then the other thing that really touched me also is he talked about how good Zambians are, smiling Zambians, and yes, they are, and they're very hardworking also. And that was, to me, that was really fantastic. The next topic about Munshya, there is some news on News Diggers today on Mukula. It's Teine Delanda Munshya, I'm just a messenger. But News Diggers are saying the current acting president of PF, Lubinda, received $182,000, and that's the money he used to buy a house or houses in Forest 27. What is your take, Bamush, on that?
Is he muted?
Lamusha, are you still there? I think he's got problem with internet. But Barbara, what's your take about that?
So let's always use the word allegedly, whatever, allegedly. It's, lately he's been coming up promoting himself on his social media page and in a campaign mode. I actually feel sorry for him in a way because I used to like him once upon a time in the early days of PF, but he's one of those who's probably been severely damaged by PF. And then the alleged news of all these Mukula scandals are not going to help him either. The bottom line is that we need to get to an end of the outcome of all this corruption. It's so exhausting because it's literally everywhere. There's no place where the corruption hasn't reached his head. So we probably want to get to the end of it too, so that we should stop saying allegedly. So we should say what is the truth. Is it A, B, and C? Is it, what is actually going on? But it's shocking because it feels like it was free for all. They went for the kill. They went for the jugular with corruption. They went for the head. They literally, they're swimming in money. Because no matter what happens, I don't think anyone would literally collect back everything that is stolen unless maybe they change the currency. I don't know. What do you think, Mukelabai?
Me, I know the moment you start hearing people trying to trash talk the person that is trying to bring sanity to the country, to the world, already that goes to show that somebody is trying to hide something. And that's how we Zambians operate. I'm going to use the word Zambians. We operate, we capitalize on trying to defame or destroy somebody who is doing something positive to society, and we come in and trash, even when we know that we are the people who are actually doing the opposite. We are hypocrites, in short. When you see Lubinda going around attacking every government, every simple government statement that is issued, or anything that the government says or undertakes, just to know that these people are trying to hide something. The reason why they want to expose the government as a government that is not doing the right thing, it's the very reason why they are trying to hide what they have been doing wrong or what they're trying to avoid, not to be, people not to know. Bale fisama, bale foku fisama, and they want to show, they are coming up with statements like, shame Hakainde Chilema. Shame for what? What has Hakainde Chilema done for him to be ashamed? One, he has opened up many Zambians' eyes. He has told us how many people or what this previous government has stolen. Should we tell him shame? Why should we shame him when he is exposing the previous regime for their corrupt activities? So that itself, you can tell that the very people who are trying to destroy or rather negate the current governments are the ones that are trying to avoid to be known. They're trying to hide. So these are hypocrites. So Lubinda, we now know, or we've had known for a long time, and this is just coming to pass. Forest 27, this 182,000, is it US dollars? We are going to get it back to our people because we don't love liars, alulatima sholi, and we are coming to grab what is ours, rightfully ours. So if you know that you're Elisholi, just shut up and wait for the government to do their job. Because we are coming for that.
Thank you, Mukelabai, on that. Just keep that thought. We'll talk about that again. Barbra, Mukelabai, thank you so much. On alleged Mukula scandal by Lubinda, you know, as one of the viewers has commented there, if this is true, then we pray that all the properties that Mr. Lubinda has bought from that money be grabbed, you know, taken and put that money into the coffers, because that money belongs to Zambia. Mukula is Zambia's natural resource, and all Zambians should benefit. And it's true that I've heard that so many comments on social media. And since Madam Mary Chilwa was appointed as boss at DEC, there are a lot of people who have gone into hiding, because she's the only person who could have this information of money being transferred into a bank account of, allegedly, into a bank account of Lubinda. So if this is true, she's got the evidence. And if Mr. Lubinda cannot explain how he got that money from a Chinese guy into a Zambian account, we're going to grab that property. It belongs to Zambians. And then Barbra and Mukelabai, there's something I forgot to mention about the trip, our president's trip to Dubai, to the Expo. Did you notice that the president was only there for about 3 days? Now imagine our friends, and he only went with about four ministers or 5 ministers, a lean entourage. Our friends would have gone, you know, Dubai, they would have gone into the desert. You know, they would have gone with 200 people, 100 people remained there for another 1 month, you know, partying and everything. But this shows how serious this government, not only serious, disciplined, this government is. They are not wasting people's money. They are going there to make money, to bring investment for Zambians and not to waste money. So kudos to President HH and his government. Munshya, are you there? Have you got anything to say, please, before we move on to another topic? It looks like Munshya is having some network.
He's having system errors.
Yes, yeah. So Bakwetu family, let's move on to another issue. Kabwata by-election and other by-elections that took place in Luapula and Silos. Yeah, Luapula was Milenge and another one, and then Senanga, Kusilozi. Thank you. I'll start with Mukelabai. Please, Mukelabai, let's stick to the topic for now.
Vasenanga Luitumeza Hulu for coming out and voted in numbers. You have shown, and we love your trust that you listened, you heard, you've been listening to our cry that you should never bring back criminals. You should never go back to the, I'll use a little bit a bad sentiment of what they say in Bemba. I don't know whether it's a Bemba idiom or it's what they say. You cannot go back and eat the vomits that you took out already. So that job was very well done. And I'm told UPND won that ward. And we have a councillor that is going to be sworn in as from the UPND. So Ritumeza Hulu, Mambombo Ambai, Musike Mwafereza 4, Mufiteleze. Let us show these people that we are not going to get their bet. But Chiwempala, is it Milengi? Thank you so much. Bena Milengi na tumfwa wino na mutumfwisha wino kwebekala chalo cha Zambia kunotwa wakuma diaspora. Otherwise, twatotela sana le sami pale kale valika mwachita wino kufunyapo okuvotela ba UPND so that at least ulupia lulia twalela ndapo ngalwaisa awe mukachita enjoy mweka mukalamfu ama nonde mweka and mukengile nchito eshingi abana benu bakangile nchito bakasambirila awe mwachita bwino sana okuchira bakelenka abatu bepele panchite itali sana na batunasha elo mwilabo mfuila ala babu fi kimasholi muchilozi turanda tini bakabwalala olobalande shani mumapinda mwilabo mfuila because kale tubayamba okulanda mapinda efyo balechita ni fimbi balelanda fimbi imichitire ni imbi so mwali chita bwino kuchita vote so na imwe bene bakabwata tule miromba tikupe mpani bamukabwata na imwe kuti musatichite disappoint kuti muletepo akawalala anatibela anationongela ziko kuti nabeve mubalete futi mubabweze iya bobwelela kumalusi futi takana. We don't want to go back to the old things. Let us focus onto the government that is there to protect you and me, that is thinking of you and me, and that is putting food on the table. Naimweba UPND tulelombo pia, please loosen the money so that the money goes around in the community so we can start now enjoying the dividends. Not hotel. That's my take.
Well, Dr. Barbra, what's your take on that?
You're muted, my sister.
I'm just happy that Abena Milenge, they voted wisely in Abena Senanga, because especially Kuma Milenge, you know, before elections, those were like hot places for playgrounds for Bakelenka, Baba, PF. That's where they were, you know, that was like their playground. So this is a very positive sign that things have really changed. and people are not looking back anymore. Nakwase and Angako, they are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So we are initially, the PF, they genuinely thought that maybe the election was a fluke or something from the way they were behaving. I think slowly it's beginning to sink in that the party is over. Bali kwete ka hangover kati wambo kumva kwatirimbi walabwerera mu kupati balakwita but naipo. So yeah, very happy for bene Milenge Nabaku Senanga. They've done very well. Even Munshya, that's his ancestral home, Milenge. So he was very happy about it too. But Patrick, I submit.
Thank you so much, Bakwetu. Yes, Senanga, well done, Milenge. Barbra, Mukelabai, who thought UPND could win in Milenge?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, so that's a sign that PF Balia forever. Balia, nobody will rebrand them. We are not saying they shouldn't be opposition. There will be opposition. We've got so many other parties. But Balia, Bakelenka, we don't want to see them in politics in Zambia, because what they did to the Zambian people in the last 10 years was unforgivable, and they cannot be rebranded. But Munshya, any comments? It looks like Munshya is having network issues. Let's move on to another topic. Civil servants. I've heard so many comments. They've gone viral on Facebook. Bakwetu. Civil servants are paid on time. What's your take, Barbra? I'll go back to you.
I was just seeing people celebrating on social media, Team Piana Shingilamo accounts. I was telling my niece that the last time I worked in the Ministry of Health, it wasn't like here. When you live here where we live in Europe, you don't realize that your pay has gone in. It's just another day like any other normal day. Zambia kwale batu waipusha neba ushempia nashpita until you see a queue per commercial bank, Zambia commercial bank, then you know at all so we've got money. So apparently they've received their pay, they've increased they've also received their increase in their pay, which is really good. January, that's every little helps. January, if you get an increase in pay, it's really good. And the money coming before February, that's also something. February for day 5, day 6, day 7. For the last month, not for the same month. You people have never worked in the government. We are meant to be paid on the 30th. You get paid by the 6th of the following month. And the cycle goes on and on and on. You even get confused. You don't even know when you get paid. So it's really, really excellent. It's really good. I'm so proud of whoever is on top of things, because in our time, they were like, they just didn't care. They have to start caring that people should be paid on time when they're supposed to. So now, I hope Tabarire school.
Yeah, Dr. Barbra, before I bring in our Mukelabai, you remember there were some junior doctors who were employed and they were not paid for about 3, 4, 6 months. And then when they came to pay them, they said they have to forfeit the 6 salaries. They were not paid. They have to start on a clean slate. Do you remember that?
Yeah. It used to happen like that. The first time I worked for Ministry of Health, when I just started working, I was put on the payroll. That month I was put on the payroll, my name did not go through, so I had to go back to Lusaka to sign the papers again. I went back to Kitwe. The following month I was not paid again because my name was again not on the payroll. Third month I went again to Lusaka to do the same thing. Start afresh. You walk into the office, if people not feel, fire, go to Ministry of Finance, go do this. It used to be hectic. So I just hope that now they've resolved everything and life should just carry on. For people to work hard and produce to be the best that they can, these are the little perks that they need to have. If you're going to get money, it may be not so much, but at least get it on time. If you're going to get a salary increase, at least get it when they tell you. So at least this is really good news. So abankongole nabo balambo ku knocking on my doors.
Over to you, Mukelabai.
Vachirufya efire kalifya va PF ififine nga vamfoti ifintu vale chita. Then this government that is in place now is doing actually the opposite. Ifintu va feel work chita. This government that is in power today, they are doing it within the 5 minutes they have been in office. This is why you see these guys throwing tantrums. If anything, why are you doing this? And that's why you find or you hear them coming up with anything that the government says, ni negative. Anything that they do, ni negative, including the 25.7 million that is going to go to their constituencies. It's negative. They will talk about, they will always find something negative to talk about. Why? Because to alive Shiva, ama Zambia no baba. Especially ba Kelenka. Because bale balango kutirati. The things that ama excuse bale pela. Those excuses have been defeated by the current government. And they are being exposed to say kanshi na abantu bene within the very PF na beshwano kwishwati ye yanguta tai. So aba ifibale tueva ama excuse bale tuperaria. So yonse ale ubu fi elo lelo bale ima basonte ba UPND atimulevepa. UPND atupera 25 million as a constituent fund. Bena bale tupera 1.6 million. Elo lelo tusonte ba UPND ati bale tuvepa. Nina nu wabu pali abantu babiri. So abana Zambia na beshi bano kwishibati awe akainde. He doesn't need money to put in his pocket so that he can enrich himself. He's already comfortable. That is why you can see from the leadership, you see him getting a chunk of money and give it to the intended, the people that needs it. That's why we are receiving these monies. And the civil servants, they are the most affected people in our country when it comes to pensions, when it comes to salaries, when it comes to transfers, when it comes to all kind of government bureaucratic systems. They are at the receiving end, and we do nothing but just look at them, and when they talk, we even threaten them to be transferred or to be fired in the national interest like we used to see. But now it will be a thing of the past. Civil servants are regaining their confidence. That's why ndalelomba kubaka pokola. Ababa lumendo abaletu kama president ngamba leta kuma offices kumien. Show them who you really are, so that bela ileta beka ku police ngaba ingirira mwati barefo kubwera ku police ba ilete beka. Bebu kishati, no, I don't want to face those officers because they told me the truth. Ndela ndila mapinda na inewi. So officers know what you're doing. I'm not saying what I'm saying, but I'm saying treat people the way they want to treat you and follow the law. Simple. So thank you, the UPND, for having paid our civil servants their monies, their salaries on time. We tumezi vo haka inde ichilema, wo musoko tuani, wo minister of all those ministers involved and the permanent secretaries, we tumezi, job well done. The technocrats, you are doing a wonderful job. epa shiripa kuleka mwilnaka. Continue. We are rallying behind you, and you will be our heroes of tomorrow. Ritumes.
Thank you, Mukelabai. Thank you, Dr. Barbra. Bakwetu family, civil servants, including council workers, Valley Chulam, Zambia. Last year, a friend of mine was telling me that in Tumina Kwaka no, if to fall up 42, you know, and because that was on the 10th of the following month, and they haven't been paid. It's like they were paying them in batches. That government was such a. Now imagine this government is in power, and they are paying their workers in time. But Barbra, Mukelabai, wherever you work, when you read your employment contract, your salary and your payday is part of the conditions of your contract. So if your employer does not pay you on the 24th, like if Barbra to follow up 24th, hello 24th thing per weekend, but for a Friday. So sometimes to follow up 21 instead of 24, because the 24th plus 22nd, because the 24th falls on Monday, because it's part of the conditions of your contract. Now Zambia tabafishi, they didn't care. Benda bale pangenda mashamukula, bale amkuchita enjoy, they didn't care about the workers who are doing the work. And no wonder the civil servants were demoralized. Who would go to work and put in so much when you're not getting so much and you're not even getting your salary on time? Thank God this government is gone. Look at they've started paying the pensioners. This government never did it. The previous government couldn't do it in 10 years. So we've got a government, because then instead of paying civil servants, Gavalia and Endalamasho go to Dubai for 2 weeks. I'm telling you the truth, because that trip would have cost something like $500,000, which could pay half of the civil servants in Zambia. But thank God. Desert. But Saudi Arabia on cruise. All taxpayers' money. If you remember, guys, United Nations.
Shopping,
shopping. But Barbra, if you remember, United Nations, was it 2 years ago, where people were even going on cruise, tours, taxpayers' money. First lady buyer with 25, 50 people. Now send the chola on taxpayers' money. Ambulance if
maybe they were misled by the previous people that were there, the civil servants that were there, to say this is how it is done.
No. Mukelabai, it was all about allowances, because now allowances. There were situations whereby I heard Barbra about this, and it was shocking that a certain department in the ministry, what they were doing is they realized that because Ramkwatama seminars, this is in the PF government, the whole system became corrupt because they saw it from the top. So even the civil servant became corrupt. They were just looking at ways of stealing money. But they were told that if you've got a seminar in Lusaka, you cannot get allowances. So you know what they were doing? They were getting the seminars in is it Chilanga? Chilanga surrounding areas which are not part of Lusaka, but a driving distance from Lusaka. And they'll sleep there. And
especially Vonga.
Yes, Siavonga. And they will get allowances, all stealing government money. They will even stay in the hotel, just outside Lusaka. So this is how corrupt the system was. Anyway, let's move on to another issue. Madam Mary Chirwa, she's now the deck boss. But Barbara, what is your take? What is going to happen? What do you expect from her?
In a land of criminals, she's a scary, scary person. Because Aba Milandu, they won't be happy with her because she was so adamant to do things according to the book. And not only that, she was so ridiculed. At some point, even me, I used to ask myself, report yeah, after but story, nobody's doing anything about it. Why? Why would you tell people about so many wrongs and nothing is being done about it? But we thank God that now she's been rewarded. And I'm sure she herself knows that she's in a very powerful job. And she wants, she can even go down as one of the most, depending on how she does it, she can be one of the people that built Zambia from the roots of thievery to the road to, cleanliness in politics. So she's on the verge of history. The thing remains, the power is in her hands, because the things that were going on are so much. If she was corrupt, this woman, she would end up a billionaire, because everyone will want to grease her, as they say in corrupt worlds. This one will say, I'll give you this. This one will say, I'll give you this. But the fact that she reached this far is because they failed. She used to report, this is happening, this is happening. Can you imagine how frustrating it is? You're working in the government department. For those who've never worked in government departments, it can be so frustrating when you're reporting something and they're just looking at you like it's nothing. Okay, paper. Oh, you report something, okay, because you can't go anywhere because the person you're reporting to is the one committing a crime. So how do you solve it if the one in charge is the one who's bad? Now, even the president said that if you don't have the papers, I'll bring them to you to, this is the docket, open it, this is the cases that are going on. So now there's political will. And we have to move. I'm praying to God that we move from the culture of, Muzambe Twalisa Berera, we should move to Nombana Bamkaka. This one did ABCD, the case has finished, and now they are paying the price for it. So that we should deter, because even in the new government, I'm sure there are some people who are having ideas. My God, even me, I can do it quickly. To deter these people, something has to be done, and she's in the right place. And she's a very, very powerful woman. She's a very intelligent woman. She's a very straight woman. I'm not saying she's perfect. No one is perfect. None of us are. But she's the right woman for the job. And she will do it right. I know she will. I submit.
Thank you so much for that, Barbra. Mukelabai, we're talking about Madam Mary Chirwa. Thank you.
Wochirufya, what I can say is that woman reminds me of, there was that lady that was announcing the general election. I don't know what her name is, Woman Dioi, something. It is she is in that category where these are very smart and outspoken, and you cannot intimidate them kind of ladies or women. To me, I call them iron ladies. Madam Chirwa, she's one of the iron ladies that stood firm, and that stood firm to even corrupt leaders like Edgar Changwalungu, where she was persecuted by Edgar Changwalungu, calling her names that you are calling my ministers that that they are thieves. That these reports you are giving me, you are accusing, you are persecuting. You are not persecuting them. You are persecuting me. It is on public domain. We know, and she was right. She has been right all along, but she stood firm. She stood firm. She continued with her work. And why are we not even crying that she was in a regime that was corrupt? Why are we not crying for her to be fired? Instead, we're crying for her to be appointed. This is how transparent we are. This is what we want. Even among the PF people, if there's someone who we know that was positive, that was trying to do the right thing, or that would come forward and give the new government the information about how their bosses abused powers. You are a Zambian. You will be protected. You will be taken good care of. And we will respect you. We would even love you to enter into some office because you are loyal to the country. You are patriotic to your country. So these are the things that we want. When we see Madam Chilwa, she stood firm. Even when she was working under difficult circumstances where her institution was perceived toothless. And they started even calling her names. You are corrupt. You are what? Like the way they did to the DEC. Look at Anti-Corruption Commission. It was reduced to nothing, including the judiciary. People started losing confidence in our justice dispensation system. The nolle prosecutors were entered to these political cadres, were incarcerated, were doing what? It was abused. So this is what we're trying to say, look, Zambia, we have moved a step ahead now. Whether you were a good person in that previous regime, come forward, be open. Don't start accusing or hiding the truth when things are there on a silver platter. Every Zambian is able to see what the previous government did. So all we are asking is, come forward, give us the information. You are not going to be called a snitch. No, you will be a hero in the eyes of the people that were affected because you stood for the right thing. Here we are praising this lady, Iron Lady, Madam Chilwa. Do you know why? Because she stood firm even when she was under. I don't know, is it Lungu who even appointed her to be heading that department? She stood firm against her boss and told the boss, I have these reports, your ministers are corrupt. She was point blank, but she was negated. She was reduced to nothing. Whatever she was doing, she was getting our salaries, the monies for nothing. But now, the real leader saw something potential in her and said, that is the light that I want to you to bring to the Zambian people. And guess what? Today, she's the director. Is it? I mean, she's the boss at the Drug Enforcement Commission. Meaning, all those cases, Vane, Ayamare Chingirisha, Murimuchive, and just take and sit properly in your seats, especially the previous government. She is going to come for you, and we, the Zambian people, are going to rally behind her. And I call upon all women in Zambia, stand by your fellow woman and support her 100%, not Umulomo. Natotel.
Thank you, Mukelabai. Fellow Bakwetu, fellow Zambians, fellow viewers. The Bakwetu family fought for UPND to come into power. Because if we didn't do it, Zambia was going to be gone. We had a president, Bakwetu family, who had no political will. He couldn't fight corruption. If SC takes a foul for one of his ministers, you are persecuting me. You know, Mary Chilwa takes the foul to him. I think it was 2019, 2020, the FIC report. And you know how he responded? Mfwiti. Can you believe it? Money is going out of the country. Zambians, people's money. Criminals are moving money from to offshore accounts illegally. And then you go and say Mfwiti. So there was no political will. Corruption started from the top to the bottom. The country was stinkingly corrupt. But Bakwetu, even in the Bible, even when in Sodom and Gomorrah, there was still a Lottie there who was clean. You know, in the days of Noah and his family, they were the only people who were clean. So even in Zambia, even within the enforcement agencies, where we had no respect, we didn't respect those guys. We thought they were compromised. But there was a Mary Chilwa, year after year producing the FIC reports. And she wasn't relenting, even being threatened. And even FIC, you know, they were contemplating of making reforms because it's an act of parliament. If it wasn't an act of parliament, they would have banned it because she was a thorn in the throats of criminals. But Bakwetu, I think criminals thought they were going to win the elections. So that's why they didn't care about Madam Chilwa. They thought she was just a small fish. And once they win the elections, they will do whatever they want to her. But thank God. And they must have been shocked. The moment, I've heard comments, Bakwetu, that the moment Madam Chilwa was appointed by His Excellency, HH, and I commend him for that. This is, to me, this is one of the best appointments, methodical appointment by His Excellency, HH. The moment I'm hearing comments, the moment she was appointed, all the criminals, the Kelenkas, are in hibernation now. They are quiet, they are hiding. And we pray that those files, you know, those reports start going now to the prosecuting office, to the director of prosecutor, so that they start prosecuting those people, or they start going to the court, to the new court, so that we start repossessing, you know, through the forfeiture law, we start repossessing some of those assets that were bought through illicit money or cash proceeds of crime. Bakwetu, we've got a few minutes to go. I'll give you 2 minutes each just to make closing remarks. Dr. Barbra, over to you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. So just a recap of what we've discussed. We started off with COVID. It's not over until it's over. Everybody mask up, wash your hands, 20 seconds, distance. If you're not feeling well, report it and make sure you look after yourself. That goes to all other illnesses. My elections, remember, don't go back to where it's wrong. We've started on this path. Let's build Zambia. Let's make it a successful country by being in the right position with Bali. But drug enforcement, Kulia, I think we are now, you know, a bulb has been lit, so we are in good hands. Kelenka, Kabolala, there's no need to worry. And of course, we'll be investigating everybody. It's not just those who are in politics. Chinese investigate. So some people keep asking, what about the other person? Whoever is related to the crime will be investigated. And that's how I believe it's going to be. Over and all, I wish everyone the best, and hopefully the weekend will be good. And all the best. Over to you, Mukelabai.
To you people who are trying to bring down or negate the government that is trying to do something right, the new government is a new broom. So for you who are trying to bring them down just because of your corrupt activities, you're trying to cover up your tails, my advice to you is please desist and just sit back and enjoy the ride. And if you want to criticize the government, criticize them objectively and reasonably, not going reaching an extent of start attacking the incumbent president by insulting them. And at the same time, again, I would also recommend, or rather thank the government through the State House for the appointment that you made for the lady, our Iron Lady, Madam Chilwa. Thank you so much. We are so delighted. We can tell that you have really a heart for the Zambian people, and you have put this fight on corruption. You've given it a priority, and a number one priority, and the political will. And we see to it that we are going to definitely to get the dividends. And one of the dividends we are going to get is to see these kelenkas, or the criminals, to be incarcerated and to lose most of these properties they acquired dubiously. We don't want you to relate. We don't want you to give up the fight. And the warning to you also, the ministers, the permanent secretaries that are in the new dawn, if you came into that government under the pretext of wanting to get rich, like the Kelenkas, the government that was previously removed, you better just tender in your resignation letter before you are caught, because we are not going to side anybody. This time around, we are very, very brutal, and we, the Zambian people, have opened up our eyes through Hakainde Hichilema, has opened our eyes, and we are going to speak, and nobody is going to stop us. And if we commit, if we break the laws, we will come and be answerable to those laws that we break, because we are not immune from any prosecution. But remember, let's work together. The Kabwata people, vote for UPND so that we have more numbers of MPs, and we want to put Wo Edgar Lungu on stand to answer these questions that we, the Zambian people, have. We have many questions to Wo Edgar Lungu on how he ruled our country. How did he rule so careless to be where we are today? We want answers, and we can only have those answers if his immunity is removed through the majority in the parliament. So that's what I'm asking for, or that's what every Zambian wants. We are not persecuting him. If he's innocent, we are going to be the first to praise him. But if he's guilty, he's not above the law. He has to go in jail or pay back what he got. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Barbra Mukelabai. For me, I'll just say thank you so much. Congratulations to UPND for winning the Senanga and Milenge by-elections. And Abena Kabwata, please don't make a mistake and vote Bakerenka in Kabwata. Please, let's protect the CDF. Let's unite our country and let's move forward. Thank you so much, Bakwetu family. Thank you so much, viewers all over the world. May God bless our beloved Mother Zambia. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.
Is Munshya still having technical problem? Maybe last word.
I think he's not on.
Dr. Munshya, are you there? Any closing remarks by Dr. Munshya? Dr. Munshya is not there. Thank you so much, Bakwetu crew, our viewers all over the world. May God bless you. Bye for now. Good night.